How's it going, everybody? Matt Bisaccio here for WMCT-TV and WMCT Sports, and welcome to episode 6 of the Marlborough Shamrock Football Podcast. Last episode, we had the kickers, Pat Caruso and Max Pednoff. This episode, we're joined by a couple of guys on the offensive side of the ball, wide receiver Graham Asum and running back Brett Anctil. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Not a problem. How this goes is we introduce you guys to the community. So we'll start off with you, Brett. Why don't you talk to me a little bit about yourself and your road to becoming a Shamrock?
I've honestly been playing football since I was 4 years old. I played all through high school and stuff like that. And then I ended up going to community college. Didn't know what to do. I still wanted to play football. So I got reached out by a team in Connecticut for a semi-pro team. Ended up playing there for 2 years. I ended up actually getting in a serious car accident. And they actually told me I would never play football again.
Wow.
I actually end up going through just like working out and stuff like that. I end up meeting a couple of guys on the Fury now. And it was cool because during my time of healing, I got to know the guys. And after that, I end up going to the Fury, meeting everybody there. And now I'm Shamrock.
Wow. Well, if you don't mind me asking, what were the extent of your injuries?
So I had dislocated my hip at the time, ended up breaking my pelvis in half, and pretty much had a whole hip reconstruction.
Is that all?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's incredible. You said that very nonchalantly. I feel like if I get a bruise on my hip, I'm out of commission for 2 weeks. That's incredible.
It was a pretty extreme extent to the injury, but just listened to my doctors, kept playing, and then I actually didn't miss a season. So it was really nice.
How long was the recovery time?
So I got injured about end of September, and I was pretty much running by March.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
A half year later, after a broken hip, cracked pelvis, you're back playing football and playing one of the more demanding spots in the whole field at running back.
Yep.
Taking hits. What was it like for you the first couple of times you took hits to the area? Were you concerned or?
At first I was a little skeptical about what was going to happen, and then my dad just kept telling me, he goes, listen, he goes, to get over your fear, you just got to just go with it, just do it. So I just kept practicing and just kept taking hits and stuff like that.
Wow.
And there was no pain, there was no nothing, so I was just I guess I'm good.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not trying to sound hyperbolic here. That's brave though. To go through that kind of an injury, work your way back, and then get back onto the field, that's something else. But talking about your time in Connecticut, how would you compare those games as opposed to what you experience now with the Shamrocks?
Not even close.
Yeah.
Marlborough has probably, the most fans I've ever seen. The atmosphere is incredible. It will not even compare to being anywhere else.
Nice. I remember it was maybe about a month and a half ago, I said hi to you on the sideline, and you had mentioned to me that you were brought back out of retirement. Can you tell me why you decided to retire, and more importantly, why you decided to come back?
Honestly, like I said, I've been playing this game for a long time. Body has been taken. Everybody knows me on the team of just hitting people, loving contact, and body takes its toll on you for a while. And then I was like, you know what? After winning the national championship back to back, I was like, maybe it's time to step away, get some go travel, go do some stuff. And then honestly, after watching the first game with a bunch of my other friends, it was a little heartbreaking at first. So I was like, you know what? I still got some gas in the tank. So let me see what I can do and come back.
Wow, you're absolutely a valuable asset to the team. So I'm sure I speak for everybody else that they're glad to have you.
I appreciate it.
Cool. Graham, how about you?
So for me, I started playing football probably around third grade, I want to say. I was actually down in Framingham. I was playing Framingham Pop Warner with my brother. He's the one who actually got me into it. He's 5 years older than me or so. So I played there for the first 5 years of my life. And then coming into freshman year, I moved to Marlborough. Obviously, I wasn't too happy about the move at first. But I think playing on the football team got me familiar with being out here, and I started to feel at home. And then eventually went from freshman team, JV, and then my junior year I'm playing varsity football at Kelleher Field actually, and that was pretty nice. And then to come back senior year, play as a quarterback was awesome. It got me into Worcester State where I was playing college football over there, and then I had a great 4-year career down at Worcester State. And I tried the pro route. I went to a couple combines here and there, NFL, CFL. Obviously didn't make it. And after that, I was like, maybe I think I'm done with the game for a little bit. But a fellow Worcester State alum, Harrison Engels, who happens to be our coach now, he was playing for the Mass Fury at the time out of Worcester, and he'd go to my games when I was in college. So he had always been trying to get me, and I've always denied him. I was like, yeah, I've seen semi-pro football before. I'm never playing that afterwards. It's either pro or I'm done. I'm going into the working world. But he kept trying, and of course, if you say no, eventually you'll get a yes. And I guess after like the third or fourth time him asking me, like 2 years later, I decided that I was going to play semi-pro football, and I've been playing ever since. So I think I'm going into like year 9 or something. I want to say now playing
how about
semi-pro.
that?
Yep.
Salty vet now. How's it
Yep.
feel?
Yeah. Well, I never thought this would have happened. You know what I mean? So I thought it was pro or nothing. And now that I'm 9 years in, I'm looking back at it. I'm like, oh, maybe I wasted 2 years earlier on. Those years that I was saying no, I could have been in double digits because I'm saying I'm done after this year. But we'll honestly we'll see. But it's a funny thing to go from being like the rookie on the team to being like that seasoned vet to now like I'm one of the old guys on the team, which is it's unfamiliar for me.
That's crazy. Now you're also the assistant football coach for your alma mater in Marlborough High. What's it like? When you're in practice, you may have like a player that like looks at you, they can't get anything past you. You've been playing all these years, and now you play semi-professional, and you're still really good. So like, what is it like for you to coach some of these kids and them look at you, knowing that you still play?
So I think a lot of the things I say in practice holds a lot more weight because I practice what I preach. So I'll tell them something, and then they'll come watch me on a Saturday, and they're like, "Oh, coach, you did exactly what you told me to do." I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's football. That stuff works. I'm not gonna tell you anything to get you to screw up, to get hurt, or anything. I'm gonna preach the right technique all the time because I've gone through it. I've been through the trenches. And I continuously do it now. So you go to these games and you see it works. Obviously, when I come and I'm trying to teach you guys at a younger age so you can learn that now.
Do you have any aspirations to maybe one day be a head coach somewhere?
So as you know, I'm already the head basketball coach at Marlborough High.
Yep. Great first year, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It wasn't easy, obviously. Goosebumps all year.
Yeah.
But I think it was fun. It was real fun. And again, if you're passionate about the game, once you can't play anymore, you decide you're going to coach eventually. So in the case of football, I'm hoping that at some point I'll be able to take over. Maybe as the head coach at Marlborough High. You never know, though. If another opportunity presents itself, absolutely. But I'd love to be Marlborough through and through, like I already kind of am.
Yeah, well, I've said it probably every broadcast. When you make a big play, I'm like, they're gonna have a statue of this guy outside of Marlborough High someday. He's Mr. Marlborough.
Might run for mayor.
Yeah, exactly. I know that the mayor, he's a couple of years. Who knows? He might have a chance. But we'll segue into last week's game. Big win for you guys. You come away with the 35-21 victory. That win solidifies you guys as the number 1 seed in the ECFL playoffs. You're going to have a first round bye. Your playoff game will be on September 24th at 7 p.m., which you'll be able to see live right here on WMCT. We'll have more information at the end of the podcast. But, Graham, the offense is scoring 34 points per game. Really impressive numbers. You guys have scored over 40 3 different times on the year. But with that, in your mind, is there anything that you guys can improve upon, fine-tune heading into the playoffs?
Oh, absolutely. From a timing standpoint, even from a blocking, like schematic standpoint, from a blocking scheme, we haven't been perfect. Yeah, I know, like, since the first game, I think we're averaging somewhere close to 35 a game, but it's been kind of messy, to be honest. I think we've been getting by our athleticism, so to say. But if we can kind of fine-tune things, take care of the ball a little more heading into playoffs, I think we'll be in good shape.
Nice. It's been really like fun to watch you guys operate and grow throughout the course of the season. First couple of games, like you said, were pretty choppy, but over the last few, you guys seem to be really hitting your stride, especially in regards to the slow starts. The slow starts were something that kind of hampered you in the middle portion of the season, but the last couple of games, you guys have gotten off to great starts. So that doesn't seem to be quite as much of an issue anymore. You agree?
Oh, no, I would agree. Again, usually beginning of the season, things are a little rocky, but as we start to understand our quarterback and the quarterback starts to understand his backs, receivers, his line, and the flow of the game, we start to pop a little more. And as you can see, I think now that guys are starting to get a little more comfortable with our offense. It's watch out, like anywhere from the running backs to the receivers to even the tight end when he's in the game. Anyone can go the distance for us, and I think that's huge to have on a good offense.
I definitely agree. Brett, it was late in the second quarter. You guys had just gotten the ball back. It's an opportunity for you guys to maybe put up 3 points, get in a field goal position for Max. Blake rolls out of the pocket. He gets stripped. The offensive lineman picks it up, returns it. It's a real crazy play. You go into halftime only up 7. Then the first play of the second half, you're in there spelling Zach. You lose the ball, right? Yep. They take over. Now, in a season where you guys haven't faced very much adversity really at all since the first game, what were those moments like heading back to the sidelines and trying to regroup?
Honestly, it's just a mental mistake, like just on my part. I know I have to. Harry preaches us 24/7. Hold on to the ball, 2 hands, and like I said, it's my fault. I know I fumbled, but it's just like it's getting that mental state going back into the game. When I looked at Harry, I said, "Hey, listen, give me one more. Let me redeem myself. Let me get out of my funk," and that's what happens. But when you come up the thing, you own up to it. It's a mistake. You have to get past it. But at the end of the day, you do feel bad because you do let your team down. And then when we went into half, it's just like we came out like, listen, we needed to turn up the energy. You need to focus more on ourselves. We need to play Shamrock ball, not anybody else's ball, and focus on our mistakes. No more penalties. Just making sure that we're making the right reads, the correct blocks, communication, everything. So all that does take a factor. And then obviously going out as a veteran on the team, to go out and do that and fumble the ball first play after we get the ball, it's definitely not a good thing, especially on myself. But I went off. I told Harry, listen, it was my fault, and just let me get back out there just to try and redeem myself.
Yeah, but that's exactly what happens. The very next drive, the defense gets a stop. You guys get the ball back. You get back out there for the second straight drive. First play, you rattle off 23 yards. How important was that to you for your confidence going forward when Coach Ingalls entrusts in you that you won't make the same mistake twice?
Oh, it's definitely huge. I mean, just getting back out there because the defense thinks just because you fumbled once, like you're going to do it again. Absolutely not. So obviously getting off those yards or even just breaking a tackle or something like that definitely feels better on yourself to, hey, listen, like I know I messed up the first time, but the next time it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. Now, sticking with the offense, Graham, Blake has shown incredible growth, not only throughout year 1 to year 3, but just throughout this season. Just last game, he records 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. It was the 3rd straight game in which he's had at least 1 rushing and 1 passing touchdown. What's it like, or how important is it to have a dual threat quarterback, and what type of opportunities does it open up for skill position guys like you?
So when it comes to Blake especially, it's really key, and especially in our offense, because a lot of it is RPO. So there's chances where he's going to have to run. But with him, it's his work ethic that we have to give credit to. And I lost my train of thought. Ask that again one more time.
No, just about how important it is for the skill position guys to have a quarterback that is that dual threat, and how it takes some of the pressure off you.
But yeah, so again, like with the RPO offense, like there are times where he's gonna have to run. He has to be able to find that hole to make the pass. But with him, the biggest thing is because he has those legs, he can extend plays. And I think from a receiver standpoint, when you have a quarterback that can like prolong a play or like elongate it just a little bit longer, it makes it easier for us, because sometimes it's hard to cover a guy for, especially guys like me, Ant, Storm, Mitch. It's hard to cover us for more than 3 seconds or so. So when Blake can stretch out a play and we can find those openings, it makes it more fun to be a receiver.
I'm sure. And I'm sure this year especially. I mean, I know you guys lost Johnny Morris Jr. from last year, but the wide receiver room's like 6-7 guys deep. And I know you lost Martell. I'm not sure the extent of the injury. It looked kind of bad at the end of the last game. But even with that, you still have like you said, Smith, Cintron. You've got guys like Roberts and Hooks in the wings as well. Like, what's it like to have that many good wide receivers at your disposal? And more specifically, talk to me about the emergence of George Storm Smith and Anthony Cintron.
So having that depth is huge to say. So years past, I'd be playing the whole game. We'd be up big, and I'd still be playing. And obviously over the years you get wear and tear over your body. So this year having those guys a part of our roster is huge because now I don't have to play every single offensive down. We can have a rotation going. Guys can stay fresh as they come out there. And then in Storm and in Anthony's case, they're a huge part, and they hit the ground running. The minute they touch base on this offense, you can just see that they're going to be a valuable part of this team and key parts at that. And the emergence of Ant especially, I got to give that guy credit because he's the young guy on the offense, and he's held his ground, and he's on his way to being an all-star in this league, and I'm hoping he's that rookie of the year this year because that kid can ball out.
Oh, he sure can. And having guys like that, you said it helps you to stay fresh within a game, and then even just going forward, if you choose to play another 2-3 years, that'll really help because you're not taking the same type of punishment each game, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So. Again, I've always said that this is going to be my last one, but with the emergence of those guys, if those guys
I feel
can
like he said that a couple of times too.
Yeah,
Right?
we both say it every year.
We say it every year. So maybe I'll pull the same thing where I'll watch the first game and I'll come back. But if those guys are still around, I'll absolutely be back because they make my job easier. They take a lot of the eyes on the defense off of me. It makes my life a lot easier. I don't take those hits. I don't get looked at as much. As if they take all the focus, that's awesome. I'll be that third receiver, and when you need me, I'll pop one off every now and then if you need me to. I'll be that wily vet.
And speaking of taking the pressure off the offense, the defense, right? I mean, best defense in the entire league. Last week they gave up a couple of touchdowns, but really I don't think they've had a game, aside from the Hartford Rebel game where they gave up 34, I don't think there's been another game where they've let up more than 21 points in any game. So Brett, what's it been like to go up against that high caliber of a defense in practice, and how much better has it made you?
They definitely, it is huge to have that type of defense because, Hamp does lead that team and he holds them to the highest state. He is not messing around at practice. He is literally he's always on film. He's always trying to get guys to come over. It's definitely hard though, playing against our defense because obviously they know our offense so well in practice. Even trying to run scout and stuff like that, things do get mixed up in the situations, but it definitely helps us out a lot to play against, like I said, we have some of the best players in the league on that defense. And like I said, offense keeps it to offense, defense keeps the defense, and that's how it's going to be. It's always been like that. So I can, even in practice, they stick to theirs, we stick to ours, and we just try to make the best of what we can by helping ourselves get better playing against, kids like that with a high caliber.
I'm not sure how much hitting you guys do in practice, or you might do it a little bit in the early portions of the season, and then maybe it tapers off as it gets late in the year. But is there one guy on that side of the defense that you just would not want to get hit by under any circumstance?
Honestly,
hardest hitter. Come on, who is it?
For me, I like hitting everybody, but if I'm not gonna want to hit somebody full force going head up, it's gonna be Shippy.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Shippy.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
when Shippy gets in Shippy mode, you don't want to hit that boy.
Yeah, he's quite the character on the sidelines for sure.
Absolutely,
No, absolutely.
Graham, I'll say the same for you. Is there one guy that you just wouldn't want to see across the middle of the field?
Shippy's a good one. I don't really ever go across the middle of the field, but when I do run those key one screens and I see big Rossi coming after me, that 6'9" monster, I hope to God he doesn't contact with me because I know it won't end well.
I know there was the one play you guys ran. I think it might have been the play right before your touchdown where it was like the end around with he came around the formation and he ended up being the lead blocker. Yeah. And I could just imagine you're like
you're on the
like an end or something, or a linebacker. You're trying to, or you're like a nickel corner, and you're just waiting for it, and you see that kind of guy coming at you.
You stain your pants.
Yeah, that's a very good.
It's nice for being in the backfield watching him block for you. I'm just glad he's on my team.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, you guys won that game last week. You have the game coming up against Boston. Not a ton to really play for, but obviously you guys want the win. But Graham, the team has won 8 straight. Confidence has to be through the roof. But there are little things here and there, like we talked about earlier, some of the slow starts you guys have gotten off to, and then there have been certain games, not every game, but where there have been quite a number of penalties, unsportsmanlike penalties, different things like that. In your eyes, is there cause for concern that issues like that may derail a third straight championship season?
So, in any game, there's always concern when you're penalized that much, when you turn over the ball and you blow assignments. But going into the Boston game, I think that's going to be our focal point. We almost want to treat it like it's a playoff game where we want to fine tune all those. We don't want to have those turnovers. We don't want to have those dumb penalties, especially because in a meaningful game, and playoffs are in about 3-4 weeks, whatever it is, that can hurt us really bad. So we want to make sure that we go into this next week and we clean up all those little things, because that's going to be huge come playoff time. Like, games won't be blowouts. So when it comes to a one-possession game, a crucial turnover or a crucial penalty will hurt us and nip us in the butt and could affect that three-peat.
Absolutely. Brett, it's like you guys have locked up the number 1 seed, the bye. Boston, they have something to play for as far as playoff positioning heading into the playoffs. How do you get not only yourself, but the guys in your position group focused enough to make sure that you don't look past this game and then maybe you fall into some bad habits going into the playoffs?
Honestly, it's just sticking your head in the film, being at practice, and understanding your assignment. We, like Graham said, we treat everything like it's a playoff game. You have to, because just because we're the 1 seed doesn't mean we're not going to see Boston again in the playoffs. We're probably going to be playing teams that we've never seen before. So you have to treat every team like it's a playoff game. And if you look past it for anything, like we did last year, we thought, CTP was just a rollover team, and they came in and beat us. That game we should have not have lost that game. And we did, because we looked past that. We just thought they were going to be a scrub team that showed up with 16 guys. And it showed. So looking at Boston, no, you're going to treat this game like it's a playoff, and we're going to play our game. And we're going to go out there, and we're just, whatever happens is what's going to happen.
All right. Well, good luck to you guys in that game in Boston. Hopefully come out with the W. No injuries, nothing like that. You guys will be fully ready to go for that semifinal game. Again, that game is going to be on Saturday, September 24th at 7 p.m. It's a game that you can watch live right here on WMCT-TV. For Marlborough residents, easy enough. If you have cable, that's Comcast Channel 8, Verizon Channel 34. If you're going to be watching it on your phone, you're out doing something, you'll be able to watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. You can find the links to those games on our Twitter page as well. And just a reminder that all of these Marlborough Shamrock football podcasts are available, archived on our social media pages. And if you spend a ton of time in the car and you don't have time to watch it, you can stream it and listen to the audio version anywhere that you find your streams. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. So once again, Brett, Graham, thank you so much for taking some time. I know it's a Friday night and there's a lot of other things to do, so go enjoy your weekend. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.